Finding the tenant buyers. It's very important for you to understand the criteria and understand how to find the right type of suitable tenant buyers. We'll talk about how to find the tenants in this training. It's not that difficult. It's not as difficult as you might think to find the tenant buyers. When looking for the tenant buyers, we want someone with good income, bad credit, and the necessary deposit. The tenant buyer situation is cannot qualify for a mortgage and are looking for alternative. Finding the tenant buyer can be accomplished in a variety of ways, which we'll discuss further. You can post ads online, on social media, ask friends, hire professionals to help you. I've tried traditional methods or traditional marketing for a while, but it doesn't seem to be working any longer. I prefer ads on social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and when I say online advertising, you should also look at the email campaigns, which still works tremendously, and building up your database of distressed owners and all that, and with the webinar campaign. You need a good webinar so that people can learn about you, who you are, and what you do. Because if you have something like an advocate, which can be a webinar, which explains people who you are and what you do, and you drive traffic to that landing page and to that webinar using Facebook pay-per-click ads or Google pay-per-click ads, and you will have a continuous flow of potential clients because you got that webinar explaining, representing you in your absence on the social media. And if you have a property, the type of advertising you choose will be determined by the situation. It's preferable if you have a home, it would be easier to advertise a home looking for tenants than if you don't have one. And all you are doing is promoting your services while you're looking for tenants. Another way to find the tenant buyer is through the professional relationship. You should have already relationship with mortgage brokers. If you don't have that, start looking for one. Because when a client comes to a mortgage broker or to bank to refinance, the first thing they go to is bank. They try that, and if they feel that their score is not good enough, they go to a mortgage broker. And if the mortgage broker cannot qualify them, he has nowhere to send them. And you can be an excellent source for them. Then realtors. A lot of realtors come across buyers who cannot qualify. Then those leads can be potentially turned on to you, where you can use an investor or use your own resources to purchase a property and buy that. Or other members of your local real estate investment group if you're in the business of real estate investing. You might have a tenant buyer who they could refer to you or assign to you. We'll discuss in further more details in the following sections regarding this. When people are some kind of distress because they couldn't qualify for a mortgage but they are desperate to buy a house, once you get access to them, first thing is to you contact with them and to see if they qualify for your requirements. And the other thing is that you should have a webinar and you should be placing the ads, which we'll be teaching you down the road. Before you dive into advertising, social media, or various type of online lead generation techniques, you don't need a complicated website, but you just need one. And if you're doing this as a business, you need a website where people can go and learn about you. Tenant buyers are interested in learning more about your program. You need a website or webinar which will show them a great deal of information where they can be educated without you having to waste your time. You capture their lead, you know that, and then you give them this webinar to look at, and you will know how much interest they have shown. At the end of the webinar, you ask them to fill up the information further to get in touch with you. And if they fill up the information, then you have a solid lead on your hand and you haven't wasted any time. And once you have that solid lead in hand, all you do is book an appointment to call them and meet with them. When you meet the potential customers, you should also make sure that you have some kind of handout information So before you start advertising, you need a website, you need some handouts and more information that can be sought out by the public, or you could pass it over. Because people might have friends, they might have relatives, they might have the people who their work colleagues who might be interested in the information and learning about the information. So if you're looking for tenants, sellers, and investors, make sure you have all different 3 websites for each of the categories, because they all are different categories and they all need to be targeted differently. So we'll be teaching you how to create separate websites for each of them. And you don't want your prospect tenants to know how much your investors are making, for example. That's why you need to have 3 websites, and you should have various methods to drive traffic to each of them, which we'll be also teaching you down the line. If you're targeting a very small area and you know exactly where you're targeting at, so advertising in that area, whether it's advertising on the street using traditional advertising, can still work, but it's vanishing. The newspaper ads or newspapers are really becoming very rare. If someone reads in a journal or in printed form, I don't think so anymore. People might read those magazines or newspapers online. You might put classified ads on the internet. Or you can send direct targeted flyers in that small area. If you're targeting a very specific small area, then it doesn't make sense to kind of target the overall community. But nowadays on Facebook and other social media, you can target just one segment, just one subdivision, as you can use geofencing. You can use geo-targeting, and that can be equally effective or even more effective. We'll be discussing those down the line as we discuss online marketing. Advertising on the internet. When it comes to online advertising, it's totally a whole different ball game. Craigslist is probably you are familiar with, and Canada Kijiji, the classified ads. I'm sure there are a bunch of other websites specific to your area. For sale by owner, FSBO sites are the websites where people advertise themselves to sell, and they're looking for buyers or tenants. And some sites allow you to promote lease options or rent to own on them. Other sites don't. There may be a lot of competition on websites, and some of them may charge you to advertise. While online classifieds are normally free, there are also some paid options with more features. You could probably advertise on them. But I prefer the pay-per-click because it's the quickest and the speediest, and it's very, very targeted. So PPC on social media like Facebook, YouTube, or Google. These are one of the preferred ways that I personally use, and they can be easily set up, and we'll be teaching you a bit on that, how to use PPC to target the clients that you are looking for. PPC ads on Google are not that effective anymore because Google keeps on changing algorithm, and it becomes hard for you to target. And you have to fully understand, how do I select the keywords, the target keywords to target those key markets. And on top of that, people have grown accustomed to seeing the ads, so they become kind of ad blind, we call them. Once they know that it's an ad, they become ad blind. They just simply ignore those. As a result, clicking on PPC ad, paid ads on social media has become more popular. Facebook allows you to target your ads more precisely. You can put a post, show a post as an ad on the Facebook to your Facebook users. You can set up Facebook groups to target those groups directly. If you're looking for a tenant buyer, you could target them directly. The effective way to reach your target market is to increase the traffic website to your site by advertising on Facebook, by Facebook ads, or Google ads. But you have, in all these online advertising, you have to understand the advertising and you have to know how to track. If you are not too familiar with that, I'd advise hiring somebody, a VA, a virtual assistant, or somebody, Facebook specialist, to help you do that. Okay. Using an autoresponder to send people emails to target them is also an excellent available tool for staying in touch with your potential clients. You can use an autoresponder to send drip emails or drip mail to or drip messages to your prospects. And that will help you harvest. That will help you harvest the market or harvest your clients. Social media advertising. You can use social media to advertise to your prospect clients and then develop the relationship with them over time. And you need to start creating blogs or other social media posts, or you can have a YouTube channel, or you could have a website and publish them on your Facebook and on some blogs to keep, or you can use some techniques on Twitter. But all these techniques, according to me, they are old, slow way of finding the clients. I personally prefer straightforward, simple Facebook ads and directed directly to your webinar. We'll teach you how to create that webinar, and on that webinar, you are targeting the people who are in need of your services. And that webinar will be so good that it will explain, it will build up the relationship for you, it will build your reputation with the tenant buyer. And the most important thing of all is these clients, they are more interested in solving their problems than anything else. If you know their problem that they have and you can show them that you can solve the problem for them, that's the only thing that they're interested in. And that's exactly what they're looking for. So the secret of the ALP system success is very simple. Ads, social media ads, Facebook ads, or YouTube ads. Very simple, straight ads. Directing the clients, the potential clients, to your webinar. A roughly 35 to 45 minute webinar which builds up your reputation. It does all the selling for you. It helps you screen out your potential tenants, buyers. It helps you screen out your potential clients. It screens out the clients and leads them to book a phone call with. Once you book a phone call, people want to hear that you are there to help them solve the problem. People are looking for genuine people to get them out of the hell. People are looking for help and they need genuine people who can help them. And if they find that's you on the phone call, you got a client. You still need help of professionals, which is also a very good way of, you have realtors. They are always in touch with people buying the house. They are always looking for people who want to buy the houses. And buyers, which don't get approved with realtors, who do not succeed in buying the houses, they can be your potential client. So if you have contact with realtors, they can turn over because these people are daily in touch with the buyers, so that can be a direct contact. The second type of group is mortgage brokers. Mortgage brokers are familiar with people's financial situation when they come to apply for mortgages. And if they are not eligible for a loan or mortgage, they can be potential tenant buyer for you. And third is bird doggers. They are still popular. They still do exist. And these are like new investors who still don't have the guts to invest in properties themselves. They would rather do the running for you, and these people always are willing to work for a fee. And this can range from $500 up to a few $1,000s. So it's up to you to use whichever technique. I prefer online, but at the same time, I definitely do develop professionals. So once you develop a relationship with these professionals, you will have a constant flow because they are benefiting from the relationship with you as well. Mortgage brokers, you give them deals, you give them your deals to finance. So make sure they are reciprocating. They are sending you deals as well. Same as for realtors. You use them to find the properties and buy properties. Make sure they send you their tenant buyers as well, or their investors. It's always good to build up the relationship in similar industries like financial sector, where you have financial planners, bankers, insurance agents, because you are using these people all the time. So it's good to build the relationship with these people so that they could refer you to the potential, whether it's tenant buyers, whether it's sellers, whether it's investors. These individuals are constantly in touch with other people who can be your potential clients. And they may have new clients who they cannot assist. And these people can have financial difficulty and they may require assistance. Or can be credit counselors are the other group of people that you can obtain referrals from, because credit counselors are always coming across people who are thinking of declaring bankruptcy or consumer proposal. And they may not have to do that if you are able to help them, and they might be able to refer those clients to you, and you might help them repurchase or whether it's rent to own or refinance, or convince them to do become a tenant buyer and lease buyback situation, etc. So the situation for each client is very fluid. When you're looking for tenant buyers, there are lots of ways of finding tenant buyers, more than what we have mentioned here. As we say, when you have a distressed situation of a tenant buyer and is being foreclosed, they might want to lease back from you. They might want to sell you the property and lease back to you. Okay, so there are a lot of situations. So you have to be flexible when negotiating and see whether it's mutually beneficial for all parties involved.